What's up, you guys? That was a joke, or is it? Because this is my first YouTube video, and today I'll be showing you what I did to build my new punk blog website. Instead of trying to narrate everything I do in the video, which would be really boring, I kind of come in and explain some of the parts and leave the rest to explain itself, because this is something that you can kind of put on in the background, something we can kind of just, it's kind of more chill. So I had an old punk blog which I had hosted on a free WordPress site for a few years now, but I can't really customize the appearance to the way I would like it. So my old blog was looking extremely janky, and I wanted to try and make a new one and build it myself, because I was really inspired by some videos of the indie web that I found on YouTube by some cool creators who made these old school looking websites. They look really cool, really different, and because I wanted a website that looked kind of old school and different, I decided to use Elementor to build my website with, because I didn't want something sleek and marketable like, you know, all the templates that Wix and Squarespace offer. I wanted something the opposite. I wanted it to look homemade, and it certainly does. Basically, I wanted something unfashionable. I wanted ugly fonts, stupid background, bright colours, and this is what I came up with. As you can see, I spent some time copying over my old content, and I'm happy with most of my writing, but some of it you can definitely tell a teenager wrote. It's cringe, but I do quite admire my enthusiasm at the time, at least. So you can see me copy stuff over, and I haven't properly explained what my blog is even about yet. So it is a punk blog. It's about, I've written reviews on albums, I've written band profiles, I've written gig reviews, I've just written random like articles about punk kind of stuff that I find interesting. I've been writing this for about, oh god, like 9 years now. I want to get back into writing a lot more on it, because I was really into it when I was a teenager, but this is just my way of giving back to the subculture, I guess, and kind of putting out there the old school punk that I like. I like second gen punk the most. I like 1980s punk. I like stuff that's kind of the media don't talk about. And it's not like my blog is getting the media attention of, you know, massive publications, but it's just, I really like this stuff. I have done. It's not a phase. It's been practically half my life now I've been listening to punk, and I just love it. So this is what shows my love for it, basically. A very important point that I want to make is that this is not a tutorial. I had no clue what I was doing. I had some issues with copying pictures over images in my text. They turned up grey. They were greyed out in my new website, and I wasn't sure why at the time, but we looked at that later on. And also the font, I don't know why, but whenever I coded in a new font for these paragraphs so that they were all the same font, it just removed the first paragraph of the text box. I don't know why. It was quite frustrating at the time. I also had some trouble trying to work out how to add in a navigation bar to my blog, because obviously how is anyone going to get anywhere on my blog if there's no navigation bar? I thought I could just hyperlink words within a table differently to take you to each section of the website, but I couldn't do that. So in the end I installed a plugin and I got something that looked like a navigation bar, but I'm still not quite there yet with that, but that's something that we will work on. And here are all the issues so far with how my blog was looking. I didn't like the background. There was no homepage. It didn't work for some reason. Things were not looking good, and at this point I really did want to give up, because I was way in over my head. But I didn't give up. I got over it, and I started again with a new to-do list and a new attitude. That's not true. I was inspired by a album cover of a punk and disorderly compilation, and I was like, oh, I like these colours, I'm going to try and make a new background. So that's what I did here. I actually just used a picture of a page out of Brass's new book that actually came out a couple of years ago as a background, and I made the letters for the name of my blog out of just cut up some letters from newspapers and stuck it onto a bit of cardboard, then cut that out and then took pictures of them and cropped around the edges so it looks like it's like computer generated, but it's not. And this is me organising it, and I was just kind of going with whatever I felt like. I added some colours that I took from the other album cover I showed you, and I like the way it turned out. Just whizzing through these next bits where I'm organising all the padding and colouring the container so you can actually read the writing in it, and all this boring stuff which took forever, but I sped up to like 16 times so you don't have to go through that with me. If you by any chance have the same problems as I did with font, where I was trying to code in a new font and it either just removed parts of the text for some reason when I did that, or it reformatted the whole container, so I had to put in all of the paragraph breaks and bold and italics again. It took me way too long to figure this out, but it turns out, as I will show you, that you just have to change the word span to div, and for some reason that allowed me to change the font of the text that I was referring to in my code without messing up any formatting. Don't know why, but I didn't question it, I just did it. I also changed the heading font to something different. I made my own heading font class, and I think it definitely looks a lot better than it did before. And here's how my blog is looking at the moment. The thing is that, as you can see, for some reason the containers mess up towards the end of the page. You can see that on the edits pane, that's not how it's meant to look, but when I'm looking at the preview or on the publish site, this is how it's turning out. I battled with this issue for hours, but for now I just cried about it and started on my homepage, which I set out in this way. I just thought I would do a quick intro about myself and, well, about the blog, and a preview for each of the main categories of my blog, which is Punk of the Week, album reviews, articles, and band profiles. This is where I made a horrible revelation that all of my containers look better with a border around them. So I spent some more hours putting a border around every single container on my website, which was a lot. It was hundreds, but we got there. And now we're tackling the issue with the images where they were grayed out, so I just removed them from the text box container and basically just had to chop up the text into different containers and insert the images that way, and it looks a lot better. It's a bit more tedious, but I think it's worth it. Lastly, in this video, I checked out the responsiveness of the website, so how it looks on a laptop as compared to a mobile phone screen, and realised it looked terrible on mobile, obviously. So I had to go through and change the size of all the containers so it would look a certain size on a phone screen. When I tested this on my own phone, it didn't work at all. So that was a big waste of time, which leads me on to the final result of this video. I guess it's a bit of a life lesson that there is not always a happy ending, and there certainly is not with this one. A lot of things are still wrong. The container issue, which I talked about earlier, absolutely drove me insane. I tried everything. I had to uninstall plugins, which I think was causing the issue, which caused my nav menu to stop working properly, which is what you can see here. The issue still persists, and there's a lot of things I need to make progress on. And that's the end. I thought that if I made the perfect blog all in this one video, it would, well, firstly, that would be impossible, and secondly, it would take forever. So I thought I better just make this video, and I'll make more on me improving the blog bit by bit in a more sustainable, actually possible way for the way that I do things. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.